Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about a fascinating and often misunderstood aspect of attraction: how men are drawn to women who detach. This concept may seem counterintuitive at first. After all, society often teaches us that intimacy and connection are the key to attraction. But there's something powerful about the art of detachment, something that leaves room for respect, admiration, and yes, even attraction. Independence is a core pillar of confidence, especially in relationships. When a woman is confident in her independence, she sends a powerful message about who she is. She doesn't seek validation or approval from others to feel secure in herself. Her sense of self-worth comes from within, not from external sources. This self-sufficiency is magnetic, especially to men who value authenticity and strength in a partner. It signals that she is whole on her own and doesn't need anyone to complete her, which paradoxically makes her more desirable. A woman who is independent knows how to stand on her own feet, emotionally and practically. She can manage her life, career, and personal aspirations without constantly relying on someone else for support. This type of independence not only nurtures her self-esteem but also helps her maintain balance and emotional health. Men are often drawn to this quality because it reflects maturity and the ability to thrive both independently and within a partnership. Moreover, when a woman is independent, she becomes less likely to settle for less than what she deserves in a relationship. She has standards, and her self-respect keeps her from compromising those standards for the sake of someone else's approval or affection. This boundary setting creates a natural attraction, as men tend to respect a woman who knows what she wants and isn't afraid to pursue it. Her confidence in her independence is an indicator that she is secure enough not to settle for unhealthy dynamics or relationships. Another aspect of this confidence in independence is the freedom it provides in a relationship. Men are often attracted to women who don't feel the need to be constantly attached at the hip. Independence allows each partner to maintain their own lives, hobbies, and social circles. This space is not about emotional distance, it's about fostering an environment where both individuals can grow separately, knowing that they still come together in a healthy, fulfilling relationship. This dynamic encourages a balanced, emotionally intelligent relationship where both people thrive individually and as a couple. Being confident in independence also allows a woman to take ownership of her own happiness. She doesn't rely on her partner to fulfill every emotional need or make her feel complete. This type of emotional autonomy is incredibly attractive because it shows that she is capable of finding joy and fulfillment in her own life. Men are naturally drawn to women who radiate positivity and joy from within, rather than those who look to others for emotional validation. Moreover, this kind of confidence often leads to greater self-awareness. A woman who is confident in her independence understands her needs, desires, and limitations. She knows how to communicate her feelings and expectations without fear of rejection. This clear communication and self-assuredness are attractive qualities because they create an open and honest atmosphere in any relationship. Men appreciate women who can express themselves authentically, as it allows for a deeper connection based on mutual respect. Lastly, when a woman is confident in her independence, she inspires a sense of admiration. Men are often drawn to women who challenge them to grow and improve, and an independent woman does exactly that. She sets the bar high, not just in her relationships but also in her personal goals and achievements. Her determination, ambition, and drive can serve as motivation for men to elevate themselves as well. This reciprocal inspiration and growth create a deeper connection based on mutual admiration for each other's strengths and accomplishments. Respect for oneself is one of the most powerful traits a woman can possess, and it is undeniably attractive to men. When a woman demonstrates self-respect, she communicates that she values her own worth and refuses to tolerate anything less than what she deserves. This type of respect creates an emotional foundation that is firm, unwavering, and healthy. Men are naturally drawn to women who uphold their own dignity because it suggests emotional maturity and strength. A woman who respects herself doesn't allow herself to be mistreated or taken for granted. She knows that her time, energy, and love are precious, and she will not give them freely to someone who does not appreciate or value her in return. This self-awareness and boundary setting are key aspects of self-respect. When a woman can recognize her own value and establish limits in a relationship, it creates a sense of safety and security, which is incredibly appealing to men who are seeking an equal partnership. Furthermore, self-respect goes hand in hand with emotional health. A woman who respects herself is more likely to have a balanced emotional state as she understands the importance of maintaining her own mental and emotional well-being. She doesn't depend on others to define her sense of happiness or self-worth. Instead, she cultivates a sense of inner peace and confidence. This emotional stability is a magnet for men because it provides a stable, nurturing foundation for any relationship. Self-respect also plays a vital role in how a woman handles challenges, disagreements, or conflicts in a relationship. A woman who has respect for herself will approach conflicts with clarity and composure, rather than reacting out of anger or insecurity. She knows how to communicate her feelings without resorting to manipulation or emotional outbursts. This level of maturity and control is attractive because it shows that she is emotionally intelligent and capable of handling tough situations with grace. Moreover, a woman who respects herself doesn't need to seek validation from others, whether it's from a partner, friends, or strangers. She already knows her worth. This self-assuredness is magnetic because it signals to men that she is not dependent on external approval. In relationships, this means she is more likely to make decisions based on what is best for her, rather than being influenced by the desires or opinions of others. Men are attracted to this kind of independence and strength because it creates an authentic, grounded connection. Respect for oneself also helps a woman avoid toxic relationships or unhealthy dynamics. A woman who respects herself will recognize when someone is treating her poorly, and she will take the necessary steps to remove herself from that situation. This self-preservation not only protects her but also teaches others how to treat her. Men who are seeking a strong, healthy relationship are naturally drawn to women who have this ability to discern what is good for them and to stand up for themselves in the face of adversity. Self-respect allows a woman to pursue her passions and dreams without guilt or hesitation. She believes in her ability to achieve her goals and doesn't feel that she must sacrifice her aspirations for anyone else's comfort. This level of self-assurance and ambition is attractive to men who value independence and drive in a partner. Men are often drawn to women who are passionate about their own lives and who inspire them to pursue their own goals with the same vigor. Lastly, a woman who respects herself exudes a quiet yet powerful confidence. This confidence isn't based on arrogance, but rather on an unshakable belief in her own worth. She doesn't feel the need to prove herself or seek constant affirmation from others. This type of self-respect fosters a healthy sense of self-love and acceptance, which makes her more attractive to men who value authenticity and strength. It signals that she is a whole, complete person who does not need to be fixed or validated. She is already secure in herself. One of the most fascinating aspects of detachment is the intrigue it creates. When a woman detaches in a healthy, confident way, she becomes a mystery to those around her, particularly men. This sense of mystery is not about being secretive or elusive in a manipulative way, but rather about maintaining a sense of emotional independence and not revealing everything about herself at once. Men are naturally drawn to women who maintain some level of mystery, as it sparks their curiosity and makes them want to learn more. A woman who detaches emotionally doesn't lay all her cards on the table right away. She allows herself to be a little enigmatic, revealing bits and pieces of her personality over time. This gradual unveiling draws men in because it creates a sense of excitement and anticipation. They find themselves wanting to know more, to understand her depths, and to unravel the layers of her character. The element of the unknown makes her more intriguing, and as a result, men become more invested in discovering the full scope of who she is. Intrigue arises when a woman doesn't make herself available at all times. By maintaining her independence and personal space, she gives men the opportunity to pursue her and earn her attention, rather than simply being given it freely. This push-pull dynamic where she occasionally engages and then pulls back creates a sense of tension that can be deeply engaging. Men are more likely to be drawn to her when they feel they have to work a bit for her affection and attention, as this challenge increases the excitement and allure of the relationship. Additionally, intrigue often grows from a woman's ability to be unpredictable. She might have a range of interests and passions that are not immediately obvious, and she doesn't reveal everything about herself right away. This unpredictability is a powerful attraction because it keeps things fresh and dynamic. Men are often fascinated by women who don't fit neatly into predictable boxes and who challenge their expectations, leading to a deeper desire to understand who she truly is. This sense of mystery and intrigue also feeds into the concept of emotional space. When a woman detaches, she gives herself the room to grow, to explore, and to live her own life. Men are attracted to this autonomy because it shows that she is not solely defined by her relationship or the opinions of others. The ability to lead a fulfilling life independently creates a deeper attraction as men recognize that she is not seeking validation from them, but rather has her own sense of purpose and direction. This strong sense of self makes her even more intriguing and compelling. Furthermore, detachment allows a woman to maintain an air of sophistication and grace. She doesn't chase after anyone, nor does she make it obvious that she's seeking attention. Instead, her behavior shows that she's comfortable in her own skin and doesn't feel the need to prove anything. This quiet confidence makes her more alluring because it signals that she's not easily swayed or distracted by external pressures. Men are drawn to this composed and mysterious energy because it suggests a woman who is in control of her own life and emotions. The intrigue created by detachment also feeds into the concept of emotional security. A woman who detaches doesn't emotionally cling to others for reassurance or affirmation. She doesn't seek to manipulate or play games, but instead lets the relationship evolve naturally. Men are intrigued by this approach because it eliminates the drama and emotional volatility that can sometimes come with relationships. Instead, they are drawn to the calm, composed nature of her emotional presence, which creates a deeper sense of respect and curiosity. Finally, detaching in this way leads to a stronger sense of individuality, which only adds to her allure. When a woman remains emotionally detached, she creates a sense of space where both partners can be themselves fully. This space allows for each person to bring their best, most authentic self to the table. As a result, men become more intrigued by the potential of building a meaningful connection with a woman who stands firmly in her individuality, confident in who she is and what she offers. One of the key elements of detachment is the avoidance of desperation. Desperation is often perceived as a lack of self-worth, an indication that someone is willing to settle for anything or that they are constantly seeking external validation. When a woman can detach emotionally in a healthy way, she naturally avoids the traps of desperation. She understands that her happiness is not contingent on being in a relationship or gaining constant attention. This mindset is incredibly attractive because it signals emotional maturity, independence, and confidence in her own value. Desperation often arises from a fear of being alone or not being loved, leading people to settle for unhealthy dynamics or put up with poor treatment just to avoid feeling rejected. A woman who can detach avoids this pattern. She doesn't chase after affection, approval, or validation because she knows that she is deserving of love and respect without having to beg for it. This quiet sense of assurance in her own worth is magnetic to men, as they can sense that she is emotionally secure and doesn't need anyone to complete her. She is already complete on her own. In relationships, desperation can often manifest as constant texting, over-explaining, or seeking constant reassurance from a partner. A woman who avoids desperation does not feel the need to constantly check in or demand attention. Instead, she trusts that if someone values her, they will make the effort to engage with her on their own terms. This trust in her own worth and in the natural flow of relationships makes her more appealing, as men appreciate the freedom and space to form genuine connections without feeling pressured or smothered. Desperation also often leads to clinginess or an over-reliance on a partner for emotional support. A woman who avoids desperation is capable of handling her own emotions and doesn't depend on someone else to define her sense of well-being. This emotional independence is a sign of strength and maturity, qualities that are universally admired. Men are naturally drawn to women who do not rely on them for validation or to fill emotional voids, because this indicates that the relationship can be built on mutual respect and interdependence rather than neediness. When a woman avoids desperation, she also develops a greater sense of patience and discernment when it comes to choosing a partner. Rather than rushing into relationships or clinging to ones that aren't working, she takes her time and is selective about who she invests her energy in. This patience allows her to assess a potential partner's true character and intentions, ensuring that she is never settling for someone who doesn't treat her with the respect and love she deserves. This level of self-awareness and caution only increases her value and attractiveness in the eyes of men. Furthermore, by avoiding desperation, a woman sends a message of emotional resilience. She is not easily shaken by the highs and lows of relationships, nor does she allow her sense of self to be determined by external factors. Men find this type of emotional steadiness appealing because it suggests that she has the capacity to navigate the complexities of relationships with grace and maturity. Her emotional resilience creates a sense of stability and security, which makes her more desirable in the long term. Desperation can also make a woman compromise on her boundaries or tolerate behaviors that she wouldn't normally accept, just to avoid being alone or facing rejection. A woman who is detached and confident in her worth will never compromise her principles or tolerate poor treatment in order to keep a relationship going. This kind of strength and integrity is incredibly attractive because it shows that she values herself enough to walk away from situations that do not serve her well. Men admire this fortitude as it signals that she is self-assured and unwavering in her beliefs. Finally, avoiding desperation allows a woman to cultivate a healthy sense of self-love. She knows that her happiness and fulfillment do not come from external relationships but from within herself. This self-love radiates from her and makes her even more attractive. Men are drawn to women who have a deep sense of inner contentment because it means they can offer genuine love and affection without any ulterior motives or hidden insecurities. This self-assurance not only enhances her attractiveness but also fosters a deeper, more meaningful connection with those around her. Mutual respect is the foundation of any healthy and thriving relationship, and detachment plays a crucial role in fostering this respect. When a woman practices detachment in a healthy, balanced way, she communicates to her partner that she values herself and expects to be treated with dignity. This naturally encourages respect from her partner, as it signals that she will not tolerate anything less than respectful treatment. In turn, this sets the stage for a relationship built on equality, trust, and admiration. One of the primary reasons that detachment enhances mutual respect is because it signals emotional strength and maturity. When a woman is emotionally independent, she does not need to constantly seek approval, attention, or validation from her partner. She is secure in her own emotions and well-being, and this emotional stability creates an atmosphere of respect. A man who witnesses this strength will naturally come to respect her more, as he can see that she is self-assured and does not rely on him to define her value. Moreover, detachment allows a woman to establish healthy boundaries, which are essential for maintaining respect in any relationship. Boundaries create the necessary space for each individual to maintain their sense of identity and autonomy, while also fostering a sense of emotional safety. A woman who is detached in a healthy way knows how to communicate her needs and limitations without being passive or confrontational. This clear communication fosters mutual respect because both partners understand what is acceptable and what is not, leading to a more balanced dynamic. By practicing detachment, a woman also teaches her partner the value of respect in return. If she does not engage in behaviors like emotional manipulation, over-attachment, or desperation, she sets a standard for how she expects to be treated. This teaches her partner that respect must be mutual and earned, not something that is given freely or without consideration. Men are attracted to women who establish these standards early on, as it demonstrates a clear sense of self-worth and reinforces the idea that respect is non-negotiable. Furthermore, detachment promotes a sense of emotional freedom within the relationship. When both partners can emotionally detach at times, it creates space for personal growth and development. This freedom allows each person to continue their own pursuits, hobbies, and goals without feeling smothered or controlled. In such an environment, mutual respect flourishes because each person is allowed to be their own person. Men often find this autonomy attractive, as it shows that the relationship is not stifling, but rather one where both individuals can flourish independently while still being connected. In addition, a woman who practices detachment is less likely to engage in unhealthy dependency, which often erodes respect in relationships. When one partner is overly dependent on the other for emotional validation or security, it can create an imbalance of power. This dynamic can quickly lead to resentment and frustration, as one partner may feel overwhelmed or suffocated. Detachment, on the other hand, prevents this by ensuring that both partners maintain their independence and sense of self, allowing them to contribute to the relationship in healthy, balanced ways. Respect is also cultivated through the space that detachment allows. When a woman detaches in a healthy way, she gives both herself and her partner the time and room to miss each other, to reflect on the relationship, and to appreciate each other's qualities from a distance. This space fosters greater appreciation and admiration for one another, as it breaks the cycle of constant closeness and emotional attachment. Men often find this aspect of detachment particularly appealing because it keeps the relationship from becoming stagnant or predictable. Instead, the space between them allows for fresh perspectives and deeper respect. Finally, a woman who practices detachment shows that she is not afraid of being alone or without a relationship. She values her own company and does not need a partner to complete her. This self-sufficiency is highly attractive because it signals to her partner that she does not rely on him for her happiness or fulfillment. Rather than using the relationship to fill an emotional void, she engages in it as a source of mutual growth and companionship. This balanced approach naturally leads to a relationship rooted in respect, where both individuals contribute equally and honor one another's needs and boundaries. One of the most important aspects of emotional detachment is its ability to promote and reinforce healthy boundaries within a relationship. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define where one person's emotional space ends and another's begins. When a woman practices emotional detachment, she instinctively creates space for herself and her partner. This space not only helps preserve her sense of individuality, but it also encourages mutual respect and understanding. Healthy boundaries are essential for any relationship to thrive, as they prevent over-dependency and ensure that both partners can be their authentic selves. By practicing detachment, a woman sets the standard for the level of emotional engagement she is comfortable with at any given time. She communicates that, while she values her partner and the relationship, she does not need to be emotionally consumed or overwhelmed by it. This helps avoid the pitfall of becoming overly entangled with each other's emotions, which can often lead to stress, anxiety, and even resentment. Men are often attracted to this quality because it demonstrates that she is not needy or clingy, but instead values both her own emotional well-being and the health of the relationship. Moreover, emotional detachment fosters clear communication about boundaries. A woman who practices detachment is able to articulate her needs and limits without hesitation. This directness creates an atmosphere of honesty and transparency, which is crucial for a healthy relationship. She isn't afraid to speak up when she feels something isn't right or when her personal space is being encroached upon. In doing so, she teaches her partner the importance of recognizing and respecting boundaries. This level of clarity enhances the relationship by making both individuals feel heard and valued. In addition to verbal communication, emotional detachment also allows a woman to establish her boundaries through actions. Rather than being swept away by emotional impulses, she is able to take a step back and evaluate whether her actions align with her values and needs. This helps prevent behaviors like people-pleasing or sacrificing one's own happiness for the sake of the relationship. Men are drawn to women who demonstrate this kind of self-control and wisdom, as it indicates emotional maturity and a strong sense of self-worth. A key aspect of healthy boundaries is the ability to say no when necessary. A woman who practices detachment knows how to say no without feeling guilty or fearful of rejection. She understands that her time, energy, and emotional resources are valuable, and she is selective about how she invests them. This ability to say no not only protects her own well-being, but also sets a healthy precedent for her partner. It shows that she is not willing to compromise her values or sense of self just to keep the peace or avoid conflict. Men are naturally drawn to this strength as it signals independence and self-respect. Furthermore, emotional detachment helps prevent the blurring of boundaries, which can sometimes happen when individuals are overly emotionally dependent on one another. A woman who practices detachment is able to maintain her sense of individuality and autonomy, even within the context of a romantic relationship. She doesn't lose herself in the relationship, and she encourages her partner to do the same. This kind of emotional independence strengthens both individuals and allows them to maintain their personal growth while still being connected. It fosters a dynamic where both partners can evolve without feeling suffocated or controlled by each other. Healthy boundaries also encourage mutual respect. When both individuals in a relationship practice detachment, they are better able to recognize and appreciate each other's needs, desires, and limitations. Each partner can support the other in their personal growth and aspirations without feeling threatened or insecure. This creates a foundation of trust and respect, which is essential for a long-lasting, fulfilling relationship. Men are often attracted to women who are secure in their boundaries, because it shows that they respect themselves enough to maintain their personal needs while also respecting the needs of their partner. Lastly, emotional detachment encourages space for reflection. When a woman detaches, she creates room for both herself and her partner to reflect on their emotions, desires, and the relationship as a whole. This space helps prevent impulsive decisions and emotional reactions that can lead to misunderstandings or conflict. It allows both individuals to pause, consider their feelings, and approach the relationship from a place of calm and clarity. This level of emotional maturity and self-awareness not only strengthens the relationship, but also promotes healthy boundaries that keep the connection balanced and thriving. Emotional detachment plays a crucial role in preventing over-attachment in a relationship. Over-attachment occurs when one partner becomes excessively dependent on the other for emotional validation, security, or fulfillment. This dependence can be suffocating and often leads to unhealthy relationship dynamics. A woman who practices healthy emotional detachment avoids the trap of over-attachment, preserving her emotional independence and ensuring that the relationship remains balanced and healthy. This form of detachment doesn't mean avoiding emotional connection, but rather maintaining a sense of self within the relationship. By practicing detachment, a woman maintains her individuality even when in a relationship. She does not lose herself in her partner's needs, desires, or emotions. This allows her to continue pursuing her own goals, interests, and passions, which helps to keep the relationship from becoming the sole focus of her life. Men are naturally drawn to women who do not define themselves solely through their relationship. This sense of self-sufficiency and independence prevents the relationship from becoming an unhealthy source of emotional attachment, where one partner might feel responsible for the other's happiness or fulfillment. One of the key dangers of over-attachment is the creation of a power imbalance. When one partner becomes overly reliant on the other, it can create an unhealthy dynamic where one person feels burdened or overwhelmed by the emotional demands of the other. A woman who practices detachment ensures that both partners maintain an equal footing in the relationship. She avoids the tendency to lean too heavily on her partner for emotional support, which helps to keep the relationship mutual rather than one-sided. This balance encourages respect, as each person knows they are contributing equally to the relationship. Emotional detachment also encourages healthier expectations in a relationship. When a woman avoids over-attachment, she doesn't expect her partner to fulfill all of her emotional needs. She understands that no single person can completely complete another. This realistic perspective prevents her from placing unrealistic demands on her partner, which can often lead to frustration or resentment. By not over-attaching, she avoids the cycle of disappointment that can arise when one person expects their partner to provide constant emotional reassurance or validation. This kind of emotional self-reliance creates a healthier and more sustainable relationship. Furthermore, detachment prevents the tendency to overanalyze or become overly obsessed with every aspect of the relationship. Over-attachment can lead to anxiety, where one partner is constantly worried about the status of the relationship, seeking constant reassurance or approval. A woman who practices detachment doesn't fall into this trap. She allows the relationship to unfold naturally, without overthinking or clinging to every small detail. This approach fosters a sense of calm and stability, allowing both partners to enjoy the relationship without the pressure of constantly assessing its every move. Men often find this emotional freedom attractive as it indicates maturity and emotional balance. Detachment also allows space for both individuals to grow and evolve as separate entities. When a woman is not overly attached, she encourages both herself and her partner to continue pursuing their individual paths, goals, and personal growth. Over-attachment can stifle this growth, as one partner may feel that they need to sacrifice their own development to maintain the relationship. By avoiding over-attachment, a woman creates room for both partners to flourish independently, which ultimately strengthens the relationship. This dynamic ensures that both people remain whole and fulfilled, not relying on each other for constant emotional fulfillment. Another important aspect of preventing over-attachment is maintaining a healthy level of emotional detachment in the face of conflict. When one partner is overly attached, they may react to arguments or disagreements with heightened emotion, fear of abandonment, or insecurity. A woman who practices emotional detachment can remain calm during disagreements, allowing her to communicate more clearly and resolve conflicts more effectively. This ability to detach emotionally from the immediate tension of an argument prevents her from becoming overly reactive or defensive, which can often exacerbate conflicts. This maturity in handling disagreements ensures that the relationship remains stable, even during challenging times. Finally, by avoiding over-attachment, a woman ensures that the relationship remains a source of joy and mutual support, rather than a crutch or source of stress. When both partners are emotionally self-sufficient, they are able to offer love and support freely, without the burden of excessive dependence. This creates a relationship based on shared experiences and emotional connection, rather than one person feeling as though they must constantly take on the emotional labor of the other. Men are often drawn to women who are emotionally independent because it suggests a relationship that is based on mutual respect and understanding, rather than one person becoming overly reliant on the other for emotional sustenance. One of the most significant aspects of emotional detachment is that it signals emotional maturity. Emotional maturity is the ability to understand, manage, and express one's emotions in a healthy way without being overly reactive or dependent on others for emotional regulation. When a woman practices detachment in a balanced and healthy way, it reflects her capacity to maintain emotional balance, independence, and self-awareness. This maturity makes her not only more attractive but also more capable of handling the complexities of a relationship with grace and wisdom. Emotional maturity requires a deep understanding of oneself, and detachment plays a key role in achieving this. A woman who can detach emotionally understands that her identity and happiness are not solely tied to her relationship. She recognizes that it's important to be whole and secure in herself, regardless of external circumstances. This kind of self-awareness shows emotional strength and maturity because she is not relying on someone else to define her worth or provide constant reassurance. Men find this self-sufficiency highly attractive because it reflects a level of independence and confidence that is often lacking in relationships that are built on emotional neediness or dependence. Another hallmark of emotional maturity is the ability to regulate one's emotions effectively. A woman who practices detachment is not easily swayed by emotional highs and lows. She understands the value of pausing, reflecting, and thinking things through before reacting. Whether it's in response to a conflict, a disappointment, or a moment of joy, she can process her emotions internally without feeling the need to outwardly express every feeling. This ability to regulate emotions signals maturity because it shows that she can navigate challenges without letting emotions overwhelm her or dictate her actions. Furthermore, detachment allows a woman to develop healthier perspectives on relationships. Emotional maturity requires an understanding that relationships are dynamic and require patience, communication, and compromise. A detached woman doesn't fall into the trap of expecting constant emotional fulfillment or perfection from her partner. She is aware that relationships require effort from both individuals and that maintaining a strong, healthy relationship doesn't mean that emotions should be constantly intense or dramatic. This level-headed approach signals emotional maturity because it shows that she values stability and long-term growth over fleeting emotional highs or immediate gratification. Detachment also signals emotional maturity through its connection to boundary setting. A woman who can emotionally detach understands that boundaries are crucial for maintaining a healthy sense of self and respect in relationships. She is able to set clear emotional boundaries without feeling guilty or afraid of pushing others away. Emotional maturity is reflected in the ability to communicate one's needs and limitations while still showing care and respect for the other person. Detachment allows her to navigate these boundaries with confidence, signaling that she values both her emotional space and her partner's. Moreover, emotional maturity involves the ability to handle conflict in a calm and constructive manner. When a woman practices detachment, she doesn't let her emotions take control during a disagreement. Instead, she is able to remain composed, listen to her partner's perspective, and engage in problem solving without becoming defensive or overly reactive. This ability to manage conflict in a healthy way is a clear signal of emotional maturity. It shows that she can handle difficult situations with poise, allowing for resolution and growth, rather than letting the conflict escalate or create unnecessary drama. A woman who practices detachment also understands the importance of self-care and maintaining her own emotional health. Emotional maturity requires the ability to prioritize one's own well-being without feeling selfish or neglectful. She recognizes that taking time for herself is essential for maintaining her mental and emotional balance. By practicing detachment, she avoids the trap of becoming overwhelmed by the needs of others or by the relationship itself. This focus on self-care signals emotional maturity because it shows that she can nurture herself in a healthy way, which in turn allows her to contribute positively to the relationship. Lastly, emotional detachment signals a willingness to grow and evolve. A woman who detaches emotionally is not stagnant in her emotional development. Instead, she uses her emotional independence to reflect on her own behavior, learn from her experiences, and grow as an individual. This openness to growth is a key aspect of emotional maturity. She understands that emotional development is a lifelong process, and she actively works to improve herself, her relationships, and her emotional health. This growth mindset is attractive because it signals that she is committed to becoming the best version of herself, both for her own benefit and for the benefit of her relationships. One of the most significant benefits of emotional detachment is that it encourages deeper emotional investment from both partners in a relationship. When a woman practices emotional detachment in a healthy and balanced way, it creates an environment where emotional investment can flourish. This investment is based on mutual respect, appreciation, and a shared understanding that both individuals are committed to the growth and well-being of the relationship. Rather than being emotionally overwhelmed or clingy, detachment creates space for both partners to connect on a deeper level. When a woman demonstrates emotional independence, she signals that she values herself and is not relying on her partner to fulfill all of her emotional needs. This creates a sense of intrigue and respect in her partner, who sees that she is emotionally self-sufficient and whole on her own. This sense of self-worth invites the partner to invest more emotionally, as he recognizes that the relationship is not based on neediness, but on mutual desire and connection. The more both partners feel secure in themselves, the more they are able to emotionally invest in each other without fear of rejection or imbalance. Moreover, emotional detachment removes the pressure of constant emotional dependency, which can often hinder genuine emotional investment. When one partner is overly dependent, it can create a sense of obligation or stress in the relationship. Detachment, however, allows both individuals to be fully present with one another without feeling overwhelmed by the expectation of constant emotional support. This creates a more relaxed, natural dynamic where both partners are free to invest in the relationship because they are not emotionally burdened by the need for constant validation. Emotional detachment also encourages investment by fostering trust and respect. When a woman practices detachment, she shows that she is emotionally stable and secure, which can help build trust in the relationship. She does not manipulate emotions or demand constant reassurance. Instead, she trusts her partner to show up and be emotionally available when needed. This trust allows both partners to feel more confident in their emotional investment, as they know that the relationship is built on mutual respect and understanding, rather than on a fear of abandonment or neediness. Furthermore, detachment creates space for each partner to pursue their own individual lives and goals, which ultimately strengthens the emotional connection. A woman who practices emotional detachment understands that both partners must maintain their own identities and personal growth for the relationship to thrive. This creates a sense of balance where both people feel free to pursue their passions and ambitions, knowing that their emotional connection remains intact. As both individuals grow and develop, their emotional investment in each other deepens, creating a stronger and more fulfilling bond. When emotional detachment is present in a relationship, it allows each partner to appreciate the other more fully. Since both individuals are emotionally independent, they do not take each other for granted. This space between them gives them the opportunity to miss each other, reflect on the positive aspects of the relationship, and feel grateful for the time they spend together. This sense of appreciation encourages emotional investment because it makes the relationship feel more rewarding and meaningful. When both partners are not consumed by neediness or emotional dependence, they are more likely to value and invest in the connection they share. Another important aspect of detachment in encouraging emotional investment is that it promotes emotional vulnerability. A woman who practices detachment is able to open up emotionally without feeling the need to cling to her partner for reassurance. She can share her thoughts, feelings, and desires freely, knowing that her partner will respond with empathy and understanding. This emotional openness creates an environment where both partners feel safe to invest emotionally, as they are not afraid of judgment or rejection. The more emotionally vulnerable both individuals are, the stronger the emotional connection and investment in the relationship. Finally, emotional detachment helps prevent emotional burnout, which can occur when one partner is overly invested and the other is emotionally unavailable or distant. By maintaining a healthy level of detachment, a woman ensures that she does not overextend herself emotionally while still being fully present in the relationship. This balance of emotional give and take allows both partners to invest in each other without exhausting themselves or feeling resentful. Men are often drawn to women who practice this balance, as it signals a mature and healthy approach to emotional investment. When both partners are emotionally invested in a relationship in a balanced way, they are more likely to build a lasting, fulfilling connection. Emotional detachment plays a vital role in fostering freedom within relationships, allowing both individuals the space to grow and maintain their personal sense of identity. When a woman practices detachment, it creates an environment where both partners can be their authentic selves without feeling controlled, stifled, or overly dependent on one another. This freedom is essential for a healthy relationship, as it allows both individuals to flourish as individuals while still being deeply connected. The ability to balance closeness with independence is key to maintaining a fulfilling and balanced relationship. By practicing detachment, a woman shows that she does not need her partner to complete her or define her self-worth. She is emotionally self-sufficient and secure in her own identity. This emotional independence fosters a sense of freedom because it prevents the relationship from becoming an all-encompassing force that limits personal growth. Men are often attracted to women who possess this emotional autonomy as it demonstrates strength, confidence, and a healthy sense of self. When both partners are free to pursue their own passions, goals, and interests, the relationship becomes an empowering space for mutual growth. This freedom allows both partners to explore their individual lives and ambitions without fear of judgment or resentment from one another. A woman who practices detachment understands the importance of having her own interests, hobbies, and social life separate from her partner's. This autonomy enables her to nurture her own personal growth while still investing in the relationship. The ability to have separate experiences and space is crucial for maintaining a healthy dynamic, as it prevents feelings of suffocation and fosters a sense of individuality within the connection. Emotional detachment also helps reduce the tendency for controlling or possessive behaviors. In relationships where one partner becomes overly attached or emotionally dependent, there can often be a sense of control or possessiveness. A woman who practices healthy detachment avoids these dynamics, as she does not seek to control her partner's behavior or expect him to be emotionally tethered to her at all times. This freedom from control allows both partners to feel safe and secure in the relationship, knowing that they are not bound by unhealthy expectations or demands. It creates a space where both individuals are trusted to be themselves. Moreover, detachment fosters freedom by preventing the emotional exhaustion that can arise from over-involvement in a relationship. When both partners are emotionally independent, they can invest in each other without feeling drained or overwhelmed. This balance allows for more genuine connection, as neither person is feeling emotionally overwhelmed or burdened by the relationship. Each partner can engage with the other freely, without the pressure of constantly meeting the other's emotional needs. As a result, emotional energy is better preserved, creating a dynamic where both partners feel energized and fulfilled by the relationship. Another important aspect of detachment in fostering freedom is its role in managing expectations. Emotional detachment allows a woman to maintain realistic expectations in the relationship, avoiding the pressures that often come with emotional dependence. By not relying on her partner for constant emotional validation, she frees herself from the need to have every emotional need met at all times. This realistic approach to expectations creates a more relaxed, free-flowing dynamic where both individuals feel comfortable and confident in the relationship. Men are attracted to this because it removes the burden of constant emotional caretaking and allows the relationship to evolve naturally. Furthermore, detachment enables both partners to navigate life's challenges without feeling constrained by emotional attachments. When both individuals are free to manage their emotions independently, they are better equipped to handle stress, conflict, and difficult situations. A woman who practices detachment does not allow emotional turmoil to cloud her judgment or dictate her behavior. She is able to approach problems in a balanced, thoughtful manner, which allows the relationship to weather challenges without falling apart. This emotional resilience creates a sense of stability and security, where both partners feel free to handle life's challenges together, rather than being held back by emotional dependence. Finally, emotional detachment helps foster the freedom to explore the relationship at a comfortable pace. When both partners are emotionally detached in a healthy way, they are not rushed or pressured into taking the relationship in a particular direction. This freedom allows both individuals to enjoy the relationship as it naturally develops, without feeling forced to meet external expectations or timelines. It encourages both partners to fully invest in each other when the time is right, rather than rushing into decisions due to emotional dependence or fear of losing the connection. This space allows for a more organic and genuine connection, where both partners feel free to navigate the relationship at their own pace.